Hello, my name is Trey Golston.
Hello, my name is Alan Martinez.
Hello, my name is Martin Correa.
The myth we have decided to bust is following the American Revolution, the United States wrote a constitution that created a democratic government, allowed most citizens to have a say in their government, and was far less powerful than the government had been under Great Britain. So basically this myth means that as a result of the American Revolution, we created a democratic government, which is a government that allows the people to have a say or have a voice, and there was a balance in the power.
The myth was that following the American Revolution, the Americans created a government where the citizens had rights to their government, and also that the government wasn't as powerful as Great Britain's government when they were taking over the colonies. To see if the myth was true or false or both, what we did as a group, we read through secondary documents such as this document and this one as well that Mr. Anderson provided us with, and we looked through them and we annotated some of the pages, and we also got some online sources from Mr. Anderson as well. He emailed them to us, and it basically everything that we just said before this is what we learned from these documents that we got. And yeah, so the myth is and what we mainly figured out was that the Americans did have a democratic government, but it wasn't as powerful as the British one, and so they didn't really have much power, and that just led to chaos. But it's also not true, because after they revised the government system, they did have a lot of power, so they started taxing their own colonies, well, the countries that were back then, the 13 colonies, and as well as they started to create their own government, and they were allowed to make their own decisions instead of the states individually making their own laws.
So continuing on with what Alan said, that after they revisioned the government, they had started taxing the Americans, and then they started drafting them in their own army. And then they were able to make their own laws, and they couldn't do that before because of the Articles of Confederation that they created, and the Americans felt like they were being taxed all over again, but they didn't have a say in their government and less power.
The myth is both true and false, because the government originally came together, well, the 13 states did, and they created a government that wasn't very powerful, so they didn't really have enough power to rule over the 13 states individually. They individually ruled themselves, actually, and they all couldn't do anything because of the Articles of Confederacy. And so they came back and they revised the new government, which is the one kind of like we have now, and created a democracy. But the thing is, it was as powerful as when Great Britain was ruling our colonies. And so,
And because of this, the government was able to tax any of the states in the colonies. They also were allowed to draft any American colonists into their army to fight for them, obviously. And they didn't have any say in that decision they made. So if they were drafted, they had to go to the army. The government also was able to create any law for any of the 13 states in the colonies, instead of the states having like a ruler, or the states ruling themselves. And because of this, the American colonists felt like they were being ruled by a British government all over again, because they basically had no power.
The American government was taxing the American colonists, and the colonists felt like they did not have a say in it, and that's what a democracy is all about. Like, you have to have a say in your government.
And there you have it. That is the end of our myth. Our myth has been busted. Thank you for watching our video.